Hi, I am Max, and today I shall be dissecting the stock movement, risk and reward of the stock Netflix. Now, let me show its price chart up to the closing hour on October 25th, 2024. Let's talk about Netflix's stock performance. It's been an interesting ride lately. Right now, we're seeing a strong upward trend, with prices steadily climbing over the past year. What's catching attention is that Netflix is sitting at a high percentile, 98.5% over the past 200 trading days, and 94.0% over the last 50. It's definitely flirting with some upper limits here, brushing against a resistance level at $773. The question is, will it break through? Support is firmly anchored at $677.88, a price that's seen buyers stepping in time and again. But as we inch closer to that resistance zone, we might be approaching a decisive moment. The recent pullback from near the peak tells us that sellers aren't just standing by, they're active and watching for any sign of weakness. What we're seeing is a classic tug-of-war scenario, a solid upward trend with a critical barrier ahead. For investors, this is the spot where market sentiment could shift. If Netflix punches through $773 with conviction, we might be in for a new wave higher. But if it struggles, it could be time for a cool-off. This is where a good look at upcoming catalysts and broader market behavior will be crucial to forecasting the next big move. Stay tuned. This chart's got a story unfolding, and it's all about momentum and market psychology. The red trend line, which meets the resistance line from which the price has consolidated down, may indicate that the price may opt for a slide down. Let's dive into what the options market is telling us for Netflix as we approach the end of November. We're looking at a scatter plot displaying implied volatility, IV, against strike prices for both put and call options expiring on November 29, 2024. Here's what stands out. Put options, shown in blue, have a higher implied volatility, especially for strikes below $700. This suggests that there's more concern about downside risk. Investors are willing to pay a premium for protection if Netflix's price dips. Conversely, as we move to higher strike prices, the IV drops, particularly for call options marked in red. This indicates that the market views upward movements with less urgency or concern. Now, let's talk volume. Below the scatter plot, there's a clear spike in PUT volume about the 675 strike, hinting at significant hedging or bearish sentiment among traders. Call volume remains relatively subdued across most strikes, suggesting limited expectations for an explosive upside. It may interest you that this level being projected by the option market is reflected by the resistant line in the price chart. In a nutshell, this chart tells a story of cautious optimism but with heightened anxiety about downside risks. It's a fascinating reflection of the current market sentiment around Netflix. Traders seem prepared for volatility, especially if things take a turn for the worse. All right, let's break down this chart showing implied volatility forward trends over time for Netflix options. Here's what stands out. We're tracking the 30-day IV for both calls, in red, and puts, in blue, alongside the 50-day, green, and 200-day, purple moving averages of overall 4. Up until mid-October, call and put IVs were running closely together, hovering around 0.40 to 0.43. Then, suddenly, on October 17, we see a sharp drop in implied volatility, plummeting below 0.25 for both. What does this tell us? This sudden decrease hints that the market's expectations for volatility have sharply declined, indicating lower anticipated price swings in the near term. The steadiness in the 50-day and 200-day moving averages suggests that, Despite recent fluctuations, the longer-term outlook remains relatively stable. It's a clear signal that market sentiment has shifted from a period of uncertainty to more confidence or calmness. This fourth drop could indicate reduced hedging activity or a consensus that significant price movements are unlikely soon. Traders will be closely watching for any catalysts that might reignite volatility. In conclusion, Netflix's stock is at a crossroads, challenging a major resistance at $773 after a strong uptrend. The options market signals caution, with investors hedging against possible downside risks. The recent drop in implied volatility suggests a calmer outlook, but the upcoming weeks will be crucial. Keep an eye on key levels and be prepared for any shifts in market sentiment. Thanks for tuning in. Stay updated, stay strategic.